What's going on, guys? It's the Bulls and the Bears here with a wheel strategy type of video for you. It's about covered calls and when not to sell them. Now, I know that sounds weird, and I always thought that was weird too. Why wouldn't you sell a covered call? I'm going to get into why, but first I just want to show you DocuSign here. This is a real example that I'm going through. I have shares of DocuSign at the blue line. The blue line is my cost basis. This is the daily chart. We're at $54.45 per share, and my cost basis is $67.66. So, yeah, we're pretty far underwater. We're down like $13 per share, and I like to sell weekly options. I don't really do monthly or at all, or 2 weeks, whatever. I like to just do every single week and no more than that. And at this point, assuming I'm selling calls in profit territory, meaning calls above my cost basis way up here, for a week's time, that's not going to pay much at all. So at the moment, I'm just going to sit on my hands. Now, if you're like me, the way I was somewhat recently, you'd say, why? Why wouldn't you just sell it for like anything you can get? If you can get $1, $5, $10, why not just take it? Like, why would you not take free money? Even if it's $5, who cares? $5 a week, that could be like $20 a month. You're paying for, an HBO subscription, a Netflix subscription, Apple Music. Like, it's free money. Why would you just sit on your hands? Well, you got to understand when you sell a covered call, there is downside to it. There's give and take with everything you do in the market. So when you're selling a covered call, yeah, you're getting money. And it's essentially, it feels like free money. But you got to understand that you're capping your upside when you sell a call. If the stock should release something crazy, maybe it's getting bought out, maybe it solves the cure for cancer, maybe it revises its guidance upwards and the stock just rips up. Anything can happen, as you know, being in the stock market like me, anything can happen at any time. Stocks can go bonkers, major gaps can happen at any moment, and at any time, the stock could instantly just go up here. All of a sudden, we're up to $84 per share in the matter of 4 days, and I'm stuck selling a call down here. Way down here at like $70 per share, which is going to happen every time. Like, as long as you're selling covered calls, that's always going to be the case. So whether you sold it for $5 or you sold it for $100, we're both going to be selling our shares at $70 or $71, whatever. But I think it's a good idea to require a minimum amount of premium for your covered call, because at the end of the day, should this move happen, you're going to be missing out on all of these potential gains, like all in this area. It's a lot of money that you're missing out on because you sold a call down here. And if this happens and you only have $1, $5 to show for it, like you sold a call, you're locked in to sell down here from selling a covered call, and you only got $5 for it, you're going to feel like an idiot. And I don't think it's worth risking this potential upside for just $1 or $5 or even $10. I've been on YouTube watching some other guys doing wheel strategies, and I heard someone give a 30% rule. They have a rule where they want to make 30% annualized every time they sell a call. So let me show you what that would look like. Let's bring up the calculator. So I have shares at 67.66. I have 200 shares, but we'll just do a 100 share example. So 100 shares at that price means I have $6,766 in the trade. That's my cost. So what's 30% of that? 30%, multiply that by 0.3, is $2,029. So if I can bring in $2,029 a year in covered call premium, that's 30% of my total cost, and that's great. That's that guy's rule, 30% annualized. I sell weekly options, so I would need to see what that would be per week. So divide that $2,000 annually by 52 weeks in a year, and you get about, let's just call it $40. So to get 30% annualized, I would need to make sure I receive $40 per contract when I sell a covered call. At this point, it's a little weird at this very moment because earnings is next week, so the premiums are high. But if you take earnings away, I'm confident that premium at $70 per share when the price is at 54 is not going to be not going to be paying you $40 per contract. It's just not. It's going to be like $5 if you're lucky. So it's not worth selling because you're capping your upside. You're locked into that call, whether it's a week long, 2 weeks, a month. When you sell the call, you're locked into it until expiration, because if a monster move does happen and you want to get out of the call, you're going to have to realize a massive loss. And that loss is pretty much going to be equal to all the gains you have on your shares up to that point. So the loss in the call would wipe away that share appreciation, and you'd have to hope the shares then continue higher, and then you can make profits or extra profits, which is a lucrative move. It's not guaranteed. It could cost you money in the end. So when you sell a call, you're essentially locked into it unless you want to realize a big loss to exit that call. So I'm now under the mindset that you should get paid a certain amount for it. And even if it's not a dramatic example like this, where it's just a monster move and all of a sudden within a few days it's like 100% higher, it doesn't even have to be that dramatic. It could just be like a steady uptrend over the course of like 4 or 5 days. And if you sold a call right here because this was Monday, the beginning of the week, and then Tuesday, Wednesday happens, and now we're up here, and you're like, oh, if I just waited 3 days, I could have got my $40 per call, per contract, had I just waited, because now the price is a bit higher. But instead, I'm locked in way down here for $5 per contract, when all I had to do was just wait a little bit. This uptrend happened, and I would have got more money for that same exact strike had I just waited. That's more likely rather than just instantly jumping up 100%, but all of them are likely. There's always a chance for it. Now, I know $40 per contract isn't all that crazy when you think about a move like this, where you're losing out on thousands of dollars in profits because you're stuck selling shares down here. I know $40 isn't that much compared to $5 when you're talking about losing out on thousands of dollars. But obviously this is very unlikely, right? I'm aware that that's a very unlikely scenario. So $40 I think is okay. $5, even though the situation is very unlikely to happen, I still think $5 isn't worth it. I'd rather take nothing and allow myself to benefit from an unlikely scenario like that. If it's up to $40 and that's a 30% annualized return, then okay, I'm fine capping my upside and taking on that risk. After all, it is unlikely. But what's more likely is this situation down here where, the stock just starts to rally. And if you had just waited, you would have gotten a much better fill on that same strike. So that's why I want to say and show you guys that it's not always great to sell a covered call. I know it feels like you should. It's free money. Especially if you're way underwater like this, like what are the odds that it's going to come back up and get assigned in that week or month? But anything can happen. And I think you should have a minimum premium, or percentage, annualized percentage to receive per contract. Otherwise, it's just not worth doing. It's not worth capping that upside. I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do. 30% annualized is a baseline for me. That's what I'm thinking about. I might go 20%. Who knows? I'm still trying to figure that out for myself. But the point is, I do believe there are situations where you just shouldn't sell a covered call because it's just not paying enough. It's not worth capping your upside for that small dollar amount. So that's all I wanted to say here. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have your own opinions, let me know down below, because I'm curious to see if anyone else is doing the wheel, has their own type of rule or guideline or rule of thumb when it comes to selling covered calls. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all next time.